here. We're going to start in a seated posture. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable on your mat, sitting with the legs crossed or any other variation of a seat that you are comfortable in for at least 5 minutes or so. And then let your hands rest in your lap. Take a moment just to subtly adjust if you need so that your hips feel settled and like your weight is even through the right and left side of your pelvis. And then softly close your eyes. Let the eyelids feel heavy. And start to soften the muscles around the eyes, in the forehead and around the temples. Feel your lower jaw get loose. And then bring your awareness to the back of the neck and the top of the shoulders. And start to feel a heaviness that draws down through the shoulders, all the way to the tips of the fingers. Really releasing any holding or tension there. Continue to scan down through the rest of your body, just mentally checking in with every part of yourself. And once you've completed the physical scan, then bring your attention to your breath. Start to really listen to the sound of your own breathing. What might the quality of that sound tell you about the speed and the depth of your breath, the consistency of the airflow? Begin to breathe in a way so that the sound of your breath is even and consistent from the top of the inhalation all the way to the bottom of your exhalation. And then bring your attention to the movement of your breath. Notice where in your abdomen that you expand as you breathe in and that you contract as you breathe out. Breathing consciously and deeply. And try and purposefully settle into a slower tempo and an even rhythm, so that your inhalation is just as long as your exhalation. And it's this mindful, slower breath that we want to help carry us through our posture practice this morning. Once you feel settled in that rhythm, you can float your eyes open. Take a moment to adjust to the light in your space. All right. I'm going to have you uncross your legs and plant your feet about as wide apart as your yoga mat with your knees bent. Excuse me. Lean forward and hold on to your ankles or your shins. We're going to begin with a nice low back release with tortoise pose. Take a deep breath in and lengthen upward through your spine. And then exhale, fold your upper body forward through the thighs, letting your head just drop down toward the floor so that your neck can lengthen as well. Every time you inhale, really inflate your low back and your side ribs. And every time you exhale, make sure you feel your navel draw all the way in to help completely empty the lungs. Good. The next time you inhale, roll up slowly through the spine. And I'm going to come down off of my blanket. If you were sitting up on some support, I'll recommend the same, that you come directly to the floor. We're going to keep the same leg position. So your knees are bent, your feet are planted about as wide as the mat. Now lean your hands behind you so that you support yourself on your palms. Let's start dropping the knees back and forth like windshield wipers, just moving the thigh bones in the hip socket. Good. The next time your knees drop to the left side of your mat, let them stay there. Come off of your right hand and twist to the back of your space. Push down through the fingertips or the palms, not only to help you twist more deeply, but to also help you lift your chest. Imagine like you're trying to actually back bend a little in your upper back and feel the rotation of the twist happen from your lower back. We're going to stay in this position. The left hand will remain on the ground. Sweep your right arm forward and up, and now lean back, turning your chest up toward the ceiling. Bringing this into a true back bend here. Arching up through the rib cage and chest. One more breath in. Exhale, return to the twist. Right hand comes down to the floor. And then unwind. Face forward, pick your knees up. Good, drop the knees to the right side of your mat. And come off of your left hand as you twist to the back of your space. Good, plant the palms or fingertips on the floor and push against the mat to deepen that rotation to the right, but also to help you lift your chest and rib cage forward and up like you're trying to arch your upper back a little bit. Good, keeping that nice steady breath, the right hand staying on the ground now. Sweep your left arm forward and then up toward the ceiling. And now start to lean back as you turn your chest and rib cage up toward the ceiling as well. Reaching that left arm behind you slightly, creating a nice arch in the back. One more breath in. And exhale back to the twist for a moment. And then unwind. Good, all right, you can pick your knees up and bring the feet together now. And we're gonna rock up and down the spine. So hold the back of your thighs, drop your chin to your chest, and slowly let yourself roll down to your mat, knees toward your face, and then back up. Take this a few times, just massaging all the muscles that line the spine, your erector spinae group. And then on your next one, give enough momentum to return to a seat. Come forward onto your hands and knees into table pose. So just unfold the legs and adjust yourself so you're toward the front of your mat here. Good, let's spread the fingers widely, stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. We're going to take some spinal waves. Inhale to lift your tail, chest, and chin. Exhale, tuck the tailbone and the chin, rounding the back and separating the shoulders. Again, inhale. And exhale. Take this several more times in each direction. And also feel free to add other types of movement, maybe some lateral side-to-side bending or combining that with either the arching or the flexing. Just moving around in your spine and hips for another 10 seconds or so. Good, all right, and then return to a neutral table pose. From here, let's straighten the right leg behind us, reaching all the way through so the knee straightens completely, and then straighten your left arm in front of you, reaching all the way through so the elbow straightens. Draw your navel in slightly and engage strongly through the right arm. Feel the right shoulder blade move back toward your hip. One more breath in, and exhale, release. Other side, straighten your left leg behind you. Right arm in front of you, finding that long line of energy. Knee and elbow are straight. You're pushing down strongly through your left hand and feeling that shoulder glide back. Last breath in, and exhale, let it go. Good, keep your hips in line over the knees. Walk your arms forward, press the chest and armpits toward the floor for half down dog. Engage your arms strongly like you will do in the full pose. Try and straighten the elbows and energize the shoulders as you feel your spine draw deeper into your body. Good. Take a few more breaths here. Really notice how the pelvis tilts forward. We want that same action in the full pose. The next time you exhale, go ahead and return to table. Good, let's step the right foot forward from here, in between the hands for low lunge. Slide your left knee a little farther back and point those toes. And just settle down into your hips. Notice what's going on there this morning. Maybe move a little bit, kind of shifting your weight back and forth in the hips. Good, and then you can find stillness. We're going to keep the hips nice and low. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up for Crescent Lunge. Energize the legs by pushing strongly through your front foot and the back ankle and the top of that foot. Really connect those points to the floor and lengthen upward out of your lower back. Good. Two options for a twist here. You could either put your left hand down, rotate and raise your right arm up, or if you're feeling ready, you can take a prayer pose twist. Palms come together, rotate, and place the left elbow outside of the right knee. If that feels too deep this early on in the practice, we'll come back to this later so you can take the split arm twist. 3 more breaths here. Good, exhale, release, taking both hands down outside of the front foot. Let's tuck the back toes under now and lift that knee nice and high off of the ground. Hop that foot just a few inches closer to the front of your mat and then press your hips back in space, trying to straighten the front leg for pyramid pose or modified pyramid pose. My back heel isn't even really touching the ground. I didn't make my stance that short. I'm just trying to focus on the front leg, lengthening the hamstrings here. You could, of course, use blocks under your hands if this leg is really tight. Good. From here, lift your head and chest coming out of the fold a little bit. Bend your front knee and exhale, step forward. Standing forward bend. Bend both of your knees a bit so that you can just get rid of any strain on the hamstrings for now. And I want you to focus on really bringing your upper body in contact with the legs, draping the spine down and lengthening your lower back here. Good, and just notice the difference between the right and left sides of the body. And then see where you're at with the hamstrings. Lift the hips just a little bit, trying to straighten the legs a little bit at a time, just finding your edge, where the hamstring's willing to go right now. And just being there, respecting that edge. You may still have some bend left in the knees. Good, take your hands to your shins. Inhale from here to the flat back position, lengthening the spine. Exhale and fold forward. Twice more, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold down. Last one, inhale, get even longer. Exhale, fold. Good, bend your knees deeply, plant your palms on the ground and walk yourself to plank pose. Good. Line your shoulders over the palms, squeeze your legs together and take a few breaths here. Feel your navel draw in. Engage your glutes a little bit and tuck your tailbone and reach your heels back toward the end of your mat. One more breath in. Exhale, bring the knees down to the floor. Send your hips back to your heels and come into child's pose. Soften the shoulders and the arms. Take a few breaths here. Just easing in this morning, really focusing on lengthening the lower back before we do some more dynamic movement. Excuse me. Good. From here, let's come on back into table. And then we're going to lunge to the left foot in between the hands. Slide the right knee back. Point those toes and press the top of the foot and ankle into the floor. Just take a moment to be here, sinking down into the hips, maybe moving a little bit, shifting your weight back and forth, just noticing how this side feels. Good, and then find stillness. Keep the hips nice and low as you inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Crescent lunge. Engage the legs. Push down through that front foot and the back ankle. And get longer through your spine. Good. 2 options for your twist. The first is placing the right hand down, taking our simple twist with the left arm up. If the spine feels ready for a prayer position twist, you can take the hands together in front of the heart, twist to the left as you place your right elbow to the outside of your left knee, and press down against your right palm. Last breath in. Exhale and release the hands to the floor or your blocks. Tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee nice and high now into high lunge. Hop that foot a few inches closer to the front of your mat and then press the hips back in space, trying to straighten your front leg, folding forward over it for pyramid pose. Your back heel may or may not touch the ground right now, so a modified version of the pose, still pretty long stance. Just going for that hamstring stretch in the front leg. Good, inhale, lift your head and chest. Bend your front knee and exhale, step forward. Standing forward bend, hanging over both of your legs here. Put a slight bend to the knees and get your upper body as close to the thighs as you can. And let's hold the back of the calves or ankles this time. Really giving your lower body a hug here. Good, let go of the legs, take the hands to your shins. Inhale to the flat back position. Exhale, fold forward. We're gonna come up to stand. Inhale, open the arms, rise all the way up, reaching over your head. And exhale, arms to your sides. Good, let's move now a little more. We're gonna come through 3 rounds of Sun Salutations. Standing tall on your next breath in, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive forward over your legs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees and walk to plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower through chaturanga now, all the way to the floor. Point the toes, inhale to cobra pose. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, push up to the knees. Exhale the hips to your heels like an active child's pose, and then lift the knees and hips up for downward facing dog. Separating the feet a little bit, adjusting your hands if you need to. Lots of space between the fingers as you press back and lengthen. One more breath in, look toward the front of the mat, and exhale, step your feet there. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rise up, reaching over your head. Exhale, release the arms. Second round, inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bend the knees, step to plank pose. Gonna take one breath in and exhale, slowly lower down. Point your toes, inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, push up to the knees. Exhale, hips to heels like child's pose, and then lift up for down dog. Settle into that slow rhythm with your breath. One more inhalation, look forward. Exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reaching over your head. Exhale, release the arms. Good, one more round. Inhale. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank pose. One breath in here, and exhale, slowly lower. Point the toes, inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, press up to the knees. Exhale, hips to heels, and then lift up, down dog. One more inhalation, look forward. Exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand, reaching overhead. Exhale, release your arms. Excuse me. We're going to stand with the feet hip width apart and parallel. Good, bend your knees, sitting back for chair pose, and inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. Good, draw your navel in slightly and feel the muscles in your lower back strengthen and contract. Sit 1 inch deeper. Last breath in. Exhale like you're diving from here. Come to your forward bend. Inhale to the flat back position. We're going to hold here a few breaths. The legs are either straight if the hamstrings will allow it, or a slight bend in the knees. And I want you to focus on that forward tilting of your pelvis. And it should feel like you have a little trench, a concave place where your spine is in your lower back. Those muscles on either side of the spine are active and engaged to help lengthen from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Good, the next time you exhale, fold forward. Hold the back of your calves or ankles again, and now lengthen the lower back. So no more of that trench. There's a little bit of rounding here as we hug the upper body to the lower body. Good, let go of your legs, toe heel the feet a little wider apart and turn the feet out slightly. Bend your knees deeply and bring your hips down for a squat. Take your elbows to the inside of the knees, palms together in front of your heart, and start to lengthen up your spine. And imagine that you could create that same sensation you just had in the flat back position. Is it possible to draw your lower back in, or the lumbar spine rather, so that those muscles engage again, almost like you could create a concave curvature there. Last deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward, hands and head drop, lift your hips back to your forward bend, and toe heel your feet together, hip width apart. Good, inhale, excuse me, flat back position. Exhale, bend your knees, touch the floor, lunge your left foot all the way back, and bring that knee down to the floor. Let's point the back toes so the top of the foot and ankle are in contact with your mat. And inhale, rise up again into your low crescent lunge. Exhale, bring the palms together in front of your heart. We're going to take that prayer position twist now again. Rotate from your belly button, turning to the right, and then take your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. If you need to use your right hand to help, sometimes grab my outer thigh, and that can help you cross your elbow over a little more, and then return to the prayer pose. Good, focus on really pushing down against the bottom hand. So your right hand pushes the left hand, and see if that can help you lift your chest away from the front knee a little bit. So we have space there, and then rotate more. Right shoulder gliding back. Good, let's exhale and slowly release. Return your hands to the floor. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, I have so much phlegm this morning. All right, from here, we're going to take both arms inside of the right leg. Move that foot over toward the edge of your mat a little bit, turn it out, and let the knee and thigh fall away from your shoulder. Just take a moment here. I like to rock my hips back and forth in this version of the pose. Sometimes movement in a shape can help find the areas that are maybe a little resistant before we hold the pose. So if that feels good to you, take another few seconds of just shifting your hips right and left. And then find stillness. So your pelvis is centered, the right knee and thigh are still moving out to the right. Now we're gonna walk the upper body off the mat and over to the left. So away from that front thigh, creating a lateral bend in the spine. So you're contracting your left side now. Maybe bend the elbows and lower your upper body as well. See how that feels. If that's too much, you can keep the arms straight and your chest higher. So just explore a little bit with this side bending variation of our lizard lunge. Really wide angle in that front hip, or right hip, I should say. Good, and then let's take the hands back onto the mat inside of the foot. All right, from here, tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee high. We're gonna be transitioning into a variation of side plank from here. So the first thing I want you to do is with your front foot, your right foot, you're gonna inch it off of your mat so it's on your floor. Then you can space your hands shoulder width apart. And then start to inch the foot farther back toward the end of your mat. So we're gonna be doing that stepped over version of side plank. Now look at your back foot, your left one, spin it to the outer edge so that you're on the pinky side edge and start to lower that left hip and then raise your right arm, stacking the shoulders for our side plank variation. The right leg is stepping over the left. And I've also rotated my right foot so the toes face out, perpendicular to the mat. Good, let's release the right hand, lift your back hip so you can come to the ball of the foot and just step to plank from here. A little bit of a weird transition, but when we do it again the second time, it should feel more familiar. Let's take a deep breath in, exhale, slowly lower your body to the floor, point your toes and inhale to the flat back position. To cobra pose, and exhale, roll down. Inhale, push up to your knees. Exhale, hips to the heels like an active child's pose, and then lift up to downward facing dog. Good, make any adjustments that you need to in your stance here, and then settle in, taking at least 5 deep breaths. The next time that you breathe in, look forward. As you breathe out, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back position. Exhale, forward bend. All right, we're going to come to chair pose from this forward fold this time. So look at your feet and make sure they're hip width apart. Bend the knees deeply, sitting way back. And then inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. Few breaths here in chair, feeling that kind of concave curvature in the lower back, strong energy through the muscles on either side of the spine, helping you to lift your rib cage and chest. Sit a little deeper as you exhale. Last breath in. And now exhale, dive forward to your fold. Inhale to the flat back position and hold here, finding that same sensation. Concave arch in the low back, strong muscles that contract on either side. Tailbone reaches back, crown of the head reaches forward. Good, exhale, fold forward. From here, toe heel your feet a little bit wider apart. Turn the feet out slightly. Bend your knees, dropping your hips into a squat. Good, bring the elbows to the inside of the knees, gently widen them, palms together in prayer position. Tailbone down, but try and find that same sensation that you just had in chair and the flat back. It will feel probably next to impossible because of the position in the pelvis, but you're attempting to find that same length. Last deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands, drop your head, and slowly lift back up to your forward bend. Toe, heel the feet so they're hip width apart again. Good, let's hold the back of the calves or the ankles and really hug your upper body to your lower body now. Lengthening the lower back, letting it round slightly here, just to stretch all those muscles that were really contracted. Good, let go of your ankles, bend the knees and touch the ground, and lunge your right leg all the way back. Good, place that knee down on the floor, point the back toes, press the top of the foot and ankle into the mat, and inhale, rise up to your low crescent lunge. Coming into our prayer pose twist variation, palms come together in front of your heart center. We're twisting to the left, so rotate from your belly button, crossing that right elbow to the outer left knee. And you're focusing on pressing your top hand, your left one, down into your bottom hand to lift your chest away from the thigh, and then rotate more deeply, gliding that left shoulder back in space. Good, from here, slowly release, bring the hands down. All right, let's take both arms inside of the left foot. Move that foot out toward the side of your mat a little bit and turn the foot out and drop the knee and thigh away from your shoulder. But if you want, you can rock back and forth here, just opening things up on the left side, seeing how the hips feeling this morning. Good. You can stop the movement. We're going to keep the hip out to the side. Walk your hands and your upper body over to the right, off of your mat, creating this side bend now, contracting the right side of your core. Maybe you're up with the chest a little higher, or maybe you bend the elbows and lower your chest in this side bend. Just seeing how that feels down your left side from the armpit to the hip. Good, let's take it back onto the mat, walk your hands in. All right, so let's lift, or actually let's first adjust the front foot. You're gonna inch it off of your mat a little bit, and then also wiggle it back in space so it's closer to the end of the mat. Good, from here, tuck your back toes under and lift that back knee nice and high. Hands are planted shoulder width apart. We're gonna come to the outer edge of the right foot, and that's gonna help you drop that hip and open the pelvis to the side. Your top leg is now that one that's stepping over the left foot, and then raise your left arm up for our side plank variation. Stack your shoulders and your arms. You're squeezing the right side of your waist to lift the hip. And you're pushing down through your left toes, which is helping you just get some of the weight out of the arms here in this pose. So using that top leg. Good, exhale the left hand down, flip your hips so your back heel lifts again, and step to plank from here. Good, one breath in, exhale, slowly lower down. Point your toes, inhale to cobra pose. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, push up to your knees. Exhale, hips to heels, active child's pose, and then lift up into down dog. Good, take at least 5 deep breaths here. Good, and then exhale, bring the knees down. Let's take the knees together a little bit farther forward. Bring the hips to the heels and fold down to child's pose, this time with your arms wrapped around the legs. So your hands rest by your feet. Feel your shoulder blades separate and melt down toward the ground. If you prefer the wide leg version of child's pose, that's fine too. We'll be here at least 5 breaths. Good, take your hands in front of your knees and lift yourself up to sit on your heels for a moment. And let your hands just rest in your lap. Feel your shoulders glide down your back. Just find that slow, even breath again. All right, from here we're going to work on a variation of gate pose. So we're going to be in a kneeling position, and I recommend that you face the long edge of your mat so that when we step the leg out to the side, you're still on your yoga mat. So I'm going to be kneeling kind of more toward the left side of my mat so that I can straighten my right leg out to the side for gate. And if you have any sensitivity on the knees, you could put a padded, like a blanket to pad your left knee here. Good, so before we take our side bend, I want you to just feel your pelvis, and I want you to slightly tuck your tailbone down so that there's less of the normal lumbar arch right now. So we're kind of lengthening and flattening the lower back. And then engage the muscles of your straight leg, so almost like it's warrior 2. The whole foot is on the floor, your quads are squeezing, that knee is straight. Your right hand can rest there on the right leg. Let's raise the left arm up over the shoulder and really lengthen your left side. And then lean over to the right, letting that hand slide down the straight leg, taking our side bend. And I want you to still feel like you're tucking your tailbone down toward your left knee as we side bend here. Then we're going to stay in the side bend and now take a different variation. I want you to let your tailbone and butt go back in space. And now turn toward your right foot and fold down, trying to hold the left or the right foot with your left hand, or maybe the left hand just comes to the mat. But we're now in a forward bend toward the right leg. Then we're going to return to the side bend. So as you lift up, you need to press your pelvis forward in space and tuck the tailbone again. Returning to that side bend and gate. And then inhale, lift yourself up, release the left arm. Good, I like to just lean forward, put my hands on the mat to step the straight leg back in so that you're kneeling. Good, and I'm just going to shimmy, walking on my knees over toward the right side of my mat now. You can reposition however works for you, but we're going to be kneeling on the right knee, straighten your left leg out to the side, and think of this again like warrior 2 in the left leg. So the sole of the foot is planted on your mat. Good, engage the muscles of that leg. The left hand can rest here. You're tucking your tailbone down toward your right knee. You should feel your right glute activate with that. And let's raise the right arm up, inhaling. Exhale, lean over to the left, gate pose. My left hand's just sliding down the leg any amount. Focus is on the top arm, reaching it over the face so you get a huge right side stretch. Still tucking the tailbone down. Good, Good. From here, we're turning this into the forward bend variation by leaning the butt and hips back and then turning the chest down and folding forward toward the straight leg. Now my right hand is down. I'm now just holding the foot, or maybe your hands are on the mat on either side of the straight leg, but we're folding down. You should feel now stretch down the right side of your back. Still keep the left leg active like it's in Warrior Two. Good, we're gonna slowly transition back to our first gate pose, the side bend. So start to press your pelvis forward in space, open your upper body, and return to the side bend, tucking your tailbone. Good, inhale, lift up, coming out of it. Exhale, release the arm, lean forward, putting your hands down, and just step your left knee back down, finding table, and sit back on your heels for a moment. Good, just let your hands rest in your lap. You can close your eyes if you like. And just bring your awareness to your lower back. Notice how it feels right now. Visualize just the natural curvatures in your spine right now. So a little bit of concave in your lower back, lengthening in your middle back. It's a little bit convex, although you won't be seeing that, because if you see it, then it's too much. And then a little bit of concave curvature in the back of the neck. Take 3 more breaths here, just sitting. And then you can float the eyes open. We're going to transition directly to the floor. You may or may not want to have some support under your hips. We're going to still face the long edge of the mat. We're going to take a wide-legged forward bend. So I just like doing that so both my heels are on the squishy part of my mat instead of coming onto the wood floor. But you can arrange yourself however you like. If you're using a folded blanket, place it underneath your hips. And we're going to start just by engaging the legs, flexing at the ankles so the toes point up toward the ceiling, and then feeling that energy move from those muscles on your shin all the way up to your kneecaps, which are straight, and engaging up through your thighs to your hips. Good, sit up as tall as you can and try and think of bringing that more concave arch to your lower back. Hug your lumbar spine into your body. Good, and then as we start exhaling, we're going to begin the process of leaning the upper body forward, but that really comes from the tilt in your pelvis. Avoid rounding in your lumbar for as long as you possibly can. Good, folding forward any amount. You can walk your hands forward. We're going to be here at least 10 breaths. Good. When you're ready to come out, inhale and rise up. Take your hands to the back of your knees, lean back a little bit, and start to drag the heels in, bending at your knees. Good. All right, from here we're going to come down to the back. So take your time transitioning to the floor. And we're going to finish with a nice deep reclined twist. Once you're on your back, I'm going to have you straighten your left leg in front of you, bring your right knee into your chest, and hug it close to you for a few breaths. Notice how your lower back flattens into the ground the closer that your leg comes to your ribs. Now also kind of shortens you in the waist here. So for the twist, we want to do the opposite. You're going to push your right knee away from you so it's more in line over your hip, and you have length in your right side, and then cross it over your pelvis toward the ground, finding that reclined twist shape, floating your right arm out to the side, opening the chest. Take one more deep breath in, and exhale, unwind. Good, bend both knees, adjust your hips so they feel centered, and then straighten your right leg on the ground. Hug your left knee all the way into your upper body for a moment, bringing it nice and close to you, feeling your low back flatten as the hip flexes and the waist shortens a little bit. Good, and then move the left knee away from you. Bring it in line over your hip joint. And then cross it over for your twist as you float the left arm out to the side with the palm up and the chest open. Good. When you're ready to unwind, gently release. Plant both of your feet on the floor. Adjust your hips so they feel centered. Let your low back settle. And then we're going to take Shavasana. So when you're ready, just let your arms and legs relax down onto the mat. Settling your body into the floor, letting go of any lingering active energy so that your body can rest. Gently close your eyes if you haven't already. And take one final deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Let go of that deep focused breathing here, inviting your natural breath to come back. back to your breath. And take a few deeper breaths as you begin to move a little bit in your body. Eventually make your way to one side, curling up into a fetal pose. And just pausing briefly there to notice how you feel right now. And with as little effort as possible, make your way back upright to a comfortable seated pose. Keep the eyes closed and the focus on your breath. Feel your spine get tall again. And find that deeper, slower breath that you had during our practice. You can bring the palms together in front of your heart, and we'll end by chanting Om one time, taking a deep breath in. Exhale and gently bow your head, acknowledging yourself for making the time and space to practice this morning and expressing gratitude to your body. And thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this class. It's wonderful to have you.